12-minute Trinity Force, the Mirror Mana transformation around the 30-minute mark. Those timings very, very delayed, and EP, the game was just played around them. It was Vici doing everything they wanted, taking everything they wanted, and taking the first win.
So we'll see what happens here in the draft. Vici going to swap over to the blue side here for the second game of the best of two. Energy Pacemaker over on the red. The Hecarim ban again there. So respect to Amazing J, but a good adaptation there by Energy Pacemaker. No more Vega for you, Mata.
And no context needed for some very creative bans, especially even by week 1 stands. Hecarim just coming back into the meta with 5.2 changes banned away, and the Vega support respect ban.
And what a ban there by Vici, actually banning Corki on the blue side away from Vasily.
Well, I mean, away from Vasily, away from themselves is what you're suggesting, but taking it away from Kayn as an option, I think, is the big thing. I can understand what you're saying. They clearly can play Corki, so why ban it? But I believe it's just they want to open up other strategies. Maybe they're looking to practice a comp that they've made that Corki is very strong against, and just removing one of the strongest laning and early grouping team fighting champions in the game and Corki out. Not necessarily a bad decision.
Yeah, Nidalee banned there for EP, and that's exactly what I wanted to hit on that you nailed there. Cassidy banned up there as well by Vici, but Vasily is going to have to play something different. So does he go back to Graves, which he has played a bit in recent weeks, or is this something completely different? Is Kalista going to be through if it's not banned by EP? Vici have something planned here.
And see, I think Vici should take some notes from SK Gaming, for example, who they have their AD carry and Forgiven, excellent technically, excellent at laning phase. He picks Graves and Lucian and tries to dominate lane. Why not do the same thing with Vasily? Against some of these really top AD carries, he's struggled, but if he's always going to pick himself into a winning lane matchup, it'll just help him get through what can at times be a hairy laning phase. And they've already got their tanks and their Peel and Vision in place. They just need a carry to kind of be the crown jewel of all of that. And Vasily's team fighting can be very impressive.
Yeah, and we've seen that there in the last game as well. EP actually banned Lysandra as their last ban, so Vici have a lot of options open now as well. Gnar is open, Janna, which they're considering, and they do pick for Mata is open as well. And we mentioned Kalista also banned in the last game, I believe, so lots of things for EP to pick up now.
Yeah, with the engage option gone, they just go for the oldest and standard picks from Mata, picking up that Janna. He did wonderful things with that champion all throughout 2014, and especially at World, so it makes sense to lock it in first. It doesn't tip your hand on anything. It's probably not going to be the Ezreal Janna, so it's not necessarily going to be even a losing lane matchup with the Janna, so it suits their comp to a T.
Yeah, Mata, probably the best performing Janna in the LPL. Arguably his best champion. Such a joy to watch him play, but we'll see what Energy Pacemaker do want to pick up here for their first two. They've taken their time. Jarvan would be a big mainstay here for this team, and they are going to go to it. Amazing Day is going to run it back in the lane, and Drizzle gets Rengar as his jungler.
I really don't like committing to Jarvan top in your first set of picks. There's so many options against it. We already saw Amazing Day struggle in the matchup against Maokai, went damage even when his team needed some sort of a front line and struggled with it. So pigeonholing yourself on Jarvan top. Look, Jarvan's a very strong jungler. If you pick it in the first rotation with, say, a support, you're not committing to the jungle necessarily, so you have a flex matchup available. But committing to it top lane, I think, is just too narrow a pick. I think it gives too much information to Vici.
And given what Vici might pick up here, I think you're right here. Dandy, of course, teases us there with the Amumu just briefly, but looks like he might just run back Rek'Sai, and why not after the way he played it there instead? But Hatong was considering a different pick there for the top, but instead they go to complete the bottom lane. Rek'Sai there for Dandy, and Graves now for Vasily.
And look, they're cribbing notes from what we're saying clear. They're going for lane dominance. Janna Graves is probably one of the strongest laning Janna comps in the game. So just going for, again, they've got the Janna for late game disengage, and Graves just that lane control in the early game. And I see your smile, and I know that from watching Invictus Gaming games. They're thinking about the Yasuo.
I mean, Raphael is a Yasuo player, so they could move it in here as well. We also haven't seen the neutral stunner as well, so the hover here from EP is interesting. I wonder which Chinese team, if any, will ever pick that one up here. But EP are going to mull over some options. I do like the Thresh here for sure, and it is actually going to be Trist for Kayn.
And Trist against the master of the Tristana in Vasily. So for that to be taken against Vasily in the first outing of Tristana in the LPL is a big surprise. And also, if you cast your mind back to previous metas when we talked about Holy Trinity of AD carries, Tristana was never seen as a very good matchup against Graves, because if you ever try to use that rocket jump aggressively, and of course now putting the bomb on with your E and wanting to explode it with your rocket jump to get the extra damage, you're getting into melee range for buckshot damage. So it was actually always seen as a really disadvantageous matchup the Graves versus Tristana matchup for the Tristana. So it's a big risk being taken by EP.
Yeah, and Vici going to round up with some very strong picks of their own. Basically had their picks of whatever solo laners they wanted. They've gone with Azir there for her Tong, and Carry is going to take possibly his favorite champion. It's a Rumble there in the top lane.
There's so many options for mid lane. Of course, Xerath was available. Lots of wave clear champions available as a blind pick. Azir on 5.2 definitely qualifies as a very safe blind pick. If they do go with the LeBlanc mid lane here for Raphael, it's a matchup we've actually seen Azir do very well in. It's been very hard for LeBlanc because if you go in there with your distortion and get poked out by a couple of auto attacks from the Sand Soldiers, you actually lose damage trade. So it's a comfortable matchup for Azir. And Carry, he's been playing a lot of Rumble. You look down this comp, you don't necessarily see the obvious setup CC for the Rumble, but Rumble has been super effective in the LPL so far.
He really has, and Carry, again, one of its, its front runners as far as Rumble players here go, and there are a lot of them as well, but it is actually going to be Raphael. They're taking the LeBlanc again, one of his comfort picks here, but the Assassin, fine against this. I do like it against the short range Graves especially, but you already mentioned it, the lane matchup's going to be rough, and Raphael just has a lot to get through here.
And Raphael is going to has some setup CC in lane, so if any roams come through, the Rengar from Drizzled is enabled. They've got CC in the mid lane, CC in the top lane from level 2, of course, with the flag and drag from Amazing J, and then the Death Sentence in bot lane. But it's a lot to put onto Drizzle. Drizzle's had mixed results on the Rengar. You can see the potential of the pick, getting in there, getting started, but it's a lot of favorite champions for Vasily and Dandy being played against them. Of course, Dandy's Rengar, universally known and feared. Vasily's Tristana, at least pre-rework Tristana, definitely his strongest champion. EP taking them against the Masters, there's definitely an element of risk there.
Yeah, we go through the matchups. That's the one I want to hit on here. Tristana, never seen her before in the LPL, has been, of course, changed from her old form that we were so, I guess, accustomed to at that point. How do you think Graves versus new Tristana is going to go? Because that's the big thing for this game.
I mentioned the matchup. If you get into melee range ever, if you ever get in there with the rocket jump, you really risk the burst damage coming out from Vasily. Of course, with the Janna shield, going to have a lot of extra AD early. That buckshot is going to be giving so much damage in melee range from, say, level 3 onwards. Once they get 2 points in that ability, going to be doing a lot of damage. You do have that harass advantage for Tristana, though. You do have slightly longer range even early, and then, of course, it will scale up. It's going to be an interesting matchup to watch, though.
Well, let's see how Triss does. We're going to get right into Game 2. And welcome back on the Rift. Vici up a game here in our first match of LPL Week 6, Day 1, back after our break. Energy Pacemaker going to look to even this up and pick up a point. And Vici, of course, would love to pick up the full 3 heroes. And we have some interesting stuff here in this one, Papa Smithy, but most notably, new Tristana in the LPL.
You might think the team name's been reversed here when you see a Tristana and a Rengar on one team. And that's not Vici. They're being taken against Vici. And we're going to get to learn about this new Tristana. She has a lot of potential, I think. There's a lot of potential burst damage, especially in the laning phase. But it's burst for burst. And if you ever underestimate the burst from Graves Janna, you're going to regret it.
Yeah, and we've talked about, the lane matchup. It does seem like Vasily will have a favored one moving into this lane. I guess how favored is something we'll see as the lane develops. But for me, if that's all the early game, what does Tristana's late game look like now? Because it's very different.
Absolutely. I mean, you have slightly lower range. I believe it's 2 less per level, so you don't have quite the oppressive turret-taking ability as you did before, but still obviously very much on the longer end of ranges. Your attack speed steroid is definitely your main source of teamfight damage. It's been shortened, and it's also the base attack speed has been reduced. So again, a lot of your power is gated around the use of the rapid fire Q. Look, it's still a lot of long-range reset potential, so it's still very strong in the late game. There's still burst potential coming out from lobbing the bomb on with the ENG, just getting the auto attacks to explode it, potentially even getting in with the rocket jump. So there's still assassination potential coming in the early levels especially. You could argue that maybe there's a bit more burst in the mid-game, so maybe your mid-game becomes less of a trough, but it's still the same old story. You're still wanting to get to those big items and then just crash down those turrets with the rapid fire.
Yeah, I mean, they do have good reset potential here with the comp they've built, but it's quite snowbally here from Energy Pacemaker and Vici. Sort of back to basics a little bit for them as well. Dandy going to have another visit here on the Rek'Sai, which just looked fantastic, and even Mata going to go back to an old standby of Janna.
Yeah, I expect Danny, whenever Rek'Sai is available, to pick up that champion, just because, again, we're on 5.2. There hasn't been too many changes subsequently. So strong, and so many options as Rek'Sai open, with Dandy kind of being looked at for multiple roles, whether it's warding, whether it's carry potential, whether it's split pushing. Having a champion that does all of them in one it's just music to his ears.
Yeah, as we look up towards the top lane now as well, we actually have a lane swap here. I'm not sure which side started it, but Vasily and Mata again pressuring poor Amazing J's lane Jarvan.
Well, you definitely have to say that Vici have opted into this lane swap because they've sent their bottom lane to the top, so they've made the rotation here. They've opted into a lane swap. It's lane Jarvan. Lane Jarvan against any champion. Against Rumble, for example, is very, very strong in the first early levels. Before level 4 and 5, you start getting burned down in trades. So just babying through carry in those early levels and just getting Vici, Vasily, for example, his first AD item, then swapping back. Even though the laning matchup we've already discussed is good for Vasily against Tristana, just hold back any kind of really strong jungle pressure from, say, Amazing J and Drizzle. The level 2 gank could have been massive with all the CC available, but with the lane swap, largely negated.
Yeah, and another smart early game decision made by Vici as well. Dandy actually going to pop up towards the top as well, but EP does already have a ward here. They might even look for a dive here. Vasily has started pushing wave, and they already know Amazing J at level 1, backing off very intelligently.
You can see the trinket wall was put down very early, so they were expecting, with the clumped up wave, for there to be a turret dive. So smart play from Amazing J. Been a top laner for many years now, so is aware of these slow push into turret dive strategies. Maybe actually cribbing something from a season ago or a season and a half ago, but still very, very effective with so many minions to tank the aggro.
Yeah, once upon a time, that was a standard Chinese strat a few seasons ago, but here, still getting some love now as well. Tong versus Raphael in the mid, though, actually behind slightly in CS, so Raphael never getting the early stages of this lane quite well.
So it's very interesting to see what is the item timing that leads to Vici swapping down bot. Of course, you might ask, okay, why are Vici going to be the first to rotate? But they're giving up any potential dragon control, having their bot lane up the top. And they do have a good laning matchup against the Tristana, so they eventually want to get there. Maybe it's going to be the Seeker's Arm Guard completed for the Rumble. Maybe it's going to go back and wait for the pickaxe just so they have really big duel potential with the Graves. The item timing, just to get an insight into what Vici see about this matchup that I don't, is really interesting to me.
We'll have to see. I mean, it might even just be a level thing for carry. Rumble maybe wants to get to an experience threshold, but we'll see here. Dandy going to rotate in, going to look to ward up the Dragon, it seems like, just to make sure they have control of it after the lane swap here. But instead, no, Dandy going to get some deep wards down, actually. So wards 1, they now going to take away the Wolf Camp.
Yeah, you make a good point about the levels. Of course, Rumble does scale very well with the levels. Around level 5, he'd probably be in a quite comfortable matchup against Jarvan, navigating the first kind of hairy first 3 levels into 4, and then it just gets gravy from there for the Rumble.
Yeah, and again, carries off to a good start here in his particular lane swap. Amazing J still getting held back here by the Jarvan. Not quite starved of experience like last time, but is falling behind in CS versus carries Rumble.
And just watching in the mid lane, the trades are very, very aggressive. And across the map, in fact, some very aggressive trades. 3 members from EP have been committed to the top lane right now, so there's a lot of resources being used to keep Amazing J in lane.
Yeah, I feel like in the mid lane we might just be racing to level 6 here because if either mid laner beats it, there might even be a solo kill, which will be quite rare. But Raphael does have his crystalline flask in a couple pots, playing this very safe against a poke and harass heavy champion like Azir.
Absolutely. I mean, usually we do see in these harder matchups for LeBlanc, you just can't go for the Doran Ring, even though it gives you so many dueling stats. The other reason why it might be smart, but in the bot lane, we're seeing a turret dive.
Yeah, Dandy going in. Kane's forced to hop away. Carry can't quite finish the kill, but Tristana actually completes it with an explosive shot. First blood goes to Kane.
And you can see from that tunnel exactly how aggressive Danny was being. He opted into that turret dive and just misjuggled the aggro really poorly. After his wonderful performance last game, it's a return to the blowing of flash at the start of that game. Just a really big miscalculation from Dandy.
Yeah, and just does not get any benefit there at all. Kane still up big and lost it out under his turret. And EP have very intelligently rotated in for a quick dragon. Kane a little low to defend here. Rumble does have his ultimate, but 2 members stuck up there for Vici. That should be a dragon for Energy Pacemaker.
It's actually a turret being taken in the top lane as well, so the pushing advantage of Graves has been very, very tried. They tried to turret dive as well. Carry's trying to stop this dragon.
Yeah, I mean, he's going in. Shu actually very low there. Dandy does get the dragon there. Smites it away. Drizzle going to go down there as well. A double kill and dragon for Vici. Dandy quickly makes up for that mistake as Hetong diving in onto Raphael as well. Does have his ulti available. Raphael's already used it. A good flash back there. Going to move him in, and Raphael can't go anywhere. Does kill it. The Mimic, not a distraction, and Dandy gets a double kill.
Dandy does a great job of distracting for his momentary lapses, whether it was the flash level 1 last game or the miscalculated turret dive this game. game changes so quickly, and it's all off the back of Dandy and his rotations and team fighting.
I mean, EP seemed like they had a great window there for Dragon, but death time is a little too short, it seems.
We see the replay during the transition. It's a wonderful play from Hetong to get Raphael in. Look at the bouncing coming out from the wall. It makes you smile, but it's super effective.
Yeah, I mean, LeBlanc just has so much trouble using her high mobility when that wall is up, and a great flash there from Hetong to ult back Raphael, and 3-1 now in favor of Vici. Also got the first Dragon, and what, 2,000 gold ahead almost?
Yeah, it's a massive advantage. 2,600 gold, a turret, a Dragon. EP, they were hoping for a quiet start. They were hoping to work their way into this game. The lane matchups weren't necessarily wonderful for them, but they were looking competitive. But suddenly, it goes from 0 to hero very, very fast for Vici and for Dandy in particular.
Yeah, we have made the swap down the bottom side of the map as well. Mata actually hiding in a brush that's watered, but Kane is level 6, so is Vasily. So both supports a pretty similar experience range as well. But battling BF swords here, you have to give that edge to Graves.
Oh, you definitely give it to Graves. He's so much more reliable with his burst damage. At any point, if they miss positions, watch the burst coming through.
Yeah, Vasily actually ultis, but Kane does get out well. Good play back now, and the Buster Shot should keep Tristana safe, but Shu actually has to be a bit careful. EP fighting very aggressively, but Vasily already forced him out as Amazing J has come down towards the bottom side. A good knock up there onto Mata. Great flash play back there as well, but the teleport's coming back here. Shu is low, Kane is as well. Vasily going so aggressive. Carry tags him with the equalizer just for a slow. There's the double. Maybe make a triple here. Amazing J nowhere to go. Does he queue out though, actually? Keeps himself safe, but Vasily so big already.
Yeah, Vasily is massive, but it was an intelligent use of the equalizer to split away any hope of EP from retreating into their own turret. It didn't do a lot of damage in the end, but it confirmed the kills coming through. Graves is the happiest to pick them up. He'll snowball even further, already sitting on 1,100 gold. They've got a first outer turret. They're going to work on a second.
They might just get it here as well. Vasily also padding that CS lead now as well. Going to make it 20 plus now as they look for the bottom turret as well. Vici picking up turrets about as quickly as there are kills in this game, and there goes the second.
Yeah, the second goes down so early. The global gold is mostly going to be felt in the supports. Already 1,000 gold advantage for Janna. Again, some assists to show, but it's mostly the global gold that gives her that big amount of gold.
Yeah, and back in the mid lane now as well. Hetong does have his blue buff and is staying competitive in CS. He's going to take away the Raptors there as well. Dandy swoops by to just say, yep, that's okay, you can have my jungle there. And Raphael as well, level 8, also building up towards his Morellonomicon. Hetong, unsurprisingly, going to go for his Athenes.
Yeah, going for a more defensive option. Just get a bit of magic resistance against Raphael. Makes a lot of sense. We're waiting to see the really big first use of the Through of the Hunt from the Rengar, but the gank's on in mid.
Yeah, actually, mid is in trouble. They've actually rotated down. Raphael, though, in trouble. Vasily just blows up LeBlanc. Dandy and Mata, right place, right time. And the new Vici trio really pushing forward.
Yeah, the rotation has been made a lot of sense. They want to pick up that Dragon. They're continuing the damage on Shu. Won't let him down, but it could be a third outer turret coming very fast for Vici.
And I love this pickup so much from Vasily. I don't know if he'll complete it, but he's got an early Vamp Scepter. And the Snowball Bloodthirster is a very real first pickup for Graves.
The interesting thing that Bloodthirster gives you is if that you're auto-attacking turrets, if you're doing a lot of rotating, having that extra Bloodthirster shield means you can even tank turrets as a low-range AD carry like Graves. Always have that extra 200 health, which of course will scale with level as the Bloodthirster goes on. So in the turret-taking game, which clearly Vici have been accelerating this game, 3 outer turrets at 10 minutes, Bloodthirster actually fits really well.
Yeah, double dips with the Graves pass as well, and I love the swap there, moving Hetong down. It's actually pressuring Kane pretty massively here. Tristana very low. Dandy tunnels in there. The Chillings might not enough. Can he find another sniper? Pacemaker does go for it, but a little short there, and Shu there to save him.
I loved all the dancing shoes from both of them. They were trying to fake it out for that long-range snipe with the Prey Seeker. He managed one last game, but nice moves from Kane. Stops it this time.
Yeah, he is safe, but unfortunately EP's turrets are not there. 4-0 now in turrets for Vici Gaming. 6-1 there in kills. Carry in the top lane actually going to go 1v2. Pumps down the equalizer. Amazing J going to try and make a fight out of it, but gets trapped in there. There's the first kill. Great flash. Double kill. 1v2 for Carry's Rumble.
Carry, what is it about these Chinese Rumble players? PDD many a month ago, but the double kill is wonderful. You see the items. He was at a wonderful timing, so close to the Haunting guys as well. The double kill, huge for Carry.
Absolutely massive as the towers continue to almost fall there as well. Vici pressuring so well. Going to go back shop and look for the next Dragon. Hetong actually will stay here for a little while longer just to clean out more minions, but Vici so much control on the bottom side of the map, and Bloodthirster is now done for Graves.
Pastry time across the map, whether it's the item builds, the 1v2s, or the turret pushing, it feels like a Season 3 game with just how fast we've been playing across the map. We don't often see 4 outer turrets down at 12 minutes into the game. We don't see Rumble 1v2 kills. These are all bygone eras. Even the Bloodthirster first is a surprise, though. Carry, he may have stayed a little bit too long. I think that, no.
It is enough there. Kane flashing forward for the last auto. Mata there, but can't actually save his Rumble. So Carry does go down, but Dragon back in 15. Vici are what, 8,000 gold ahead already?
8,000 gold. So much of that with Vici already. 1,500 gold himself. Everyone across Vici is doing well. The Bloodthirster, you can see how aggressively he can position. As you mentioned, double-dicking with the passive. Once he gets past level 7, he's able to have the extra 20 armor and MR coming through. So just so much tankier with that health.
Kane is in a lot of trouble there. So Dandy actually gets the kill with a bit of help from Vasily. Very aggressive by Triss, but too many members of Vici in the red side jungle.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much pressure across the map. It's not the ward pressure that we would have expected from the first row. It's just members rotating across. They want more. They're so bloodthirsty just for the turrets here. It's going to be the 5th one very shortly.
Well, they kind of know that the Dragon at this point is almost a formality for this team. They've got so much pressure on this map that they'll just take what's a little harder to get. They get the pick, they take the turret, and even 5v5, EP can't realistically contest for that Dragon.
Yeah, they're pushing their advantages. If it's a free Dragon, why not go for the 50-50 on the turret? They make it very, very quickly a pick and then another Dragon. The gold, it's almost 10,000 gold the advantage at 13 minutes. Even with a Dragon, of course, in previous metas, this would already be a 10,000 gold lead. It's huge.
Yeah, it really is. Scumbag Dandy even leaving the Little Wolves back in the camp as well, just taking away the big one with his smite. Vasily Mata actually going to take this out as well. Dandy not quite there with his smite. Actually doesn't even have it. I think he's taking the Gromp, and this just demonstrates how much control Vici have over this map.
At this point, I believe that Graves' Buckshot is going to be out-damaging the smite coming through from Drizzle at least. Only level 6, so low level. And the Bloodthirster Graves, he doesn't even take any health damage from this Dragon.
Vasily tanking very well there with Mata. There's the second Dragon coming in for Vici. Dandy actually going to go in, going to get some wards up towards the top side of the map. Now maybe stop the push that Amazing J has started, but Dandy might even look for kills. Hatong actually has been called out. Drizzle's popped his ulti. Amazing J though denies him, but he goes back in. Now Hatong does use the heal, and Drizzle goes back in, but gets knocked up immediately. Now Shu going to come in, but Hatong kiting back around. A good lantern out there, but the equalizer lands beautifully, and Amazing J has to run away. Hatong getting low though. Good shield there to keep him safe, but Raphael will get the kill. Dandy, though, will claim the next. Now Kane in a whole host of trouble. He's forced to rocket jump out of the way. Shu there will flame back. The box will keep them safe, but a 2-for-1 trade, as Dandy going to move in, maybe make it 3. Amazing J just gets over the wall. Harpoon not landing. Proseeker misses as well, but Vici just so much confidence.
And as usual, the split push Vasily, not interested in team fights, not bloodthirsty enough. 3-0-1, he could have padded his score a little bit by rotating, but why not do almost all the health on this outer turret?
Yeah, just almost untouchable at this point on Graves is Vasily, especially with Mata by his side. It's going to be 3v2 right now. Mata will go in. Shu will miss the hook now. Dandy going to make it 3v3. Vasily going to move in, does good damage there. Now Raphael going to dive in, try and take him out. A good flash out of the chains there to not proc the next sigil. And Vasily, plenty of life steal.
Yeah, some of the picks really being punished for EP, whether it's Amazing J's Jarvan, which over both games has really struggled, whether it's Drizzle, who's so far behind on this Rengar, can't really afford to use the Throw of the Hunt aggressively, only really a scouting tool, and Vici and Vasily going to take out this inhibitor turret.
Yeah, inhibitor turret falling at 15.5 minutes. That's unbelievably fast in this game, and if Vici, played a solid but, slightly more controlled, slow-paced game in the first one, this is just all-out aggression in this one.
The controlled aggression from the first game has been turned out to outright aggression in the second game. The Chinese aggression in full form as they're trying to take an inhibitor at 15 minutes.
Yeah, this inhib is likely going to fall down as well. 16 minutes ticked by EP. Have to make a stand, but Carry's even got his ulti back up soon now as well. Nothing they can do, and that inhib goes down very early.
Yeah, level 2 ultimate now that he's pinged level 11. Is very massive. They don't have the stats to follow. They don't even have any magic resist completed whatsoever. They're going to try and just harangue Vici away from this turret. But there's so little they can do.
Yeah, they're actually kind of using the Azir turret to pressure them out, just pushing EP back in towards the base. Caught Vasily on the periphery as well. Just diving in towards Kane happily as Graves. No cares in the world.
And a point we would have brought up in previous minutes, but Hatong is getting engaged.
Good ulti there as well. Kane could be in trouble, but Shu does pick up the next kill. Carry, though, going in, gets the next kill onto Jarvan. Vasily now going to dive in, but Kane knocks him back with the ulti. Raphael gets out safe and low as well. And EP defend for now.
But the point I was going to make is super minions cannot be dealt with at 16 minutes into the game. They don't have the items to even push out super minion waves. You see Kane's coming into the static shift. He's going to need any help with wave clear he can, because there's not much available to begin with on EP's side. They're more of a pick comp. They don't have long-ranged wave clear. Tristana usually needs to be late game 3 items to be able to really power down waves. They're going to struggle here, EP.
Yeah, second inhib down there as well. Vici up now 12,000 gold ahead at 17 minutes in. We talk about aggression in the LPL, but this is one of the more aggressive games in recent memory.
Yeah, we've already said it definitely harkens back to previous metas where it was much easier. There wasn't all the reinforcements on turrets to stop the early turret pushing. It's just so much harder to push turrets in the current meta, but they've been just smashed down by both Vasily and the rotations coming through from Vici. Everything's working for them. They're finding the right balance between vision and invasion. They're getting carry stats onto players like Danny. He's actually going for a Sunfire cape here just to really double down on the mid-game power. Let's be real, there's not going to be any late games. There's no need to rush towards a Randuin's when you can just pick up a Sunfire cape and amp up your own damage. And look, EP are trying to get the picks where they can, but Vasily's going to turn this around.
Yeah, Marta gets hooked there, but does stay alive for a little while longer. Vasily going to dive back in, does get the first kill, so that's 1 for 1. Now Vasily going in 1v2, soon to be 1v3. A good hook there under Shu, but it's not enough as Carry gets the next kill. Raphael going to lock him up. Kane now going to move around as well, but Carry does so much damage on this Rumble. The easiest double kill of his life. Make that a triple. Raphael now going to get chased down as well. An ace could happen here at just over 18 minutes. Dandy is going to spike him there. That will split Raphael up, and LeBlanc has so much distance to cover, but Hetong chases in, gonna kill the Mimic, and Raphael may not last. A good Prey Seeker, gonna get some vision and nowhere to go for Raphael. Auto attacks coming in, out of mana, does distort back, but Hetong completes an ace.
I was under the impression they'd remove burst damage from Rumble, but he exploded Kane. There was nothing he could do. I mean, he just kills Drizzle instantly. It's 4 levels ahead. So many items up. It looks like a glorified scrim, but it's going to be a Vici victory.
Yeah, literally melted their Carry versus Drizzle in that one with the Flame Spitter just doing so much damage. And you mentioned aggression. A small note before all that action. Carry had the option of finishing his Zhonya's. Instead, bought a blue elixir.
Well, that tells you everything you need to know about this game. He just wanted the damage. He doesn't need stasis. He's not going to die anytime soon. With all the AP, his shield's going to be enough defenses for a level 8 Rengar, a level 10 Kane with just static Shiv on the Tristana. The item timings, they were going to be late at the best of points, but they're going to be just an afterthought in about 40 seconds
And
time.
the last question, can Vici finish the game before EP can surrender? Hetong goes in with a massive ulti. Vasily follows in as well. Marta flash monsoons to split them up, and Drizzle going to be the first casualty. Shu next to drop as well. Carry going in there with the equalizer. Gets low, but there's so much shielding here for Jana as well. Raphael caught out in position, can't do anything as his Mimic goes down, and Vici will finish the game in style. EP can't even tap the mat. Finishing in 20 minutes. Vici Gaming, what a performance.
Pastry time, I have a sad statistic to bring to your attention. At this point in the game, Carry's level 2 Rumble ultimate was out-damaging the Fountain's healing. The Fountain hadn't scaled up in healing, so actually couldn't walk away from it and died to the equalizer on the Fountain. That's just the flavor of the game, summed up in a little observation. Vici blew bottom team EP out of the rift.
Yeah, and Vici, you know, shaking hands with their opponents, EP will graciously accept their defeat, but Vici get exactly what they want. A very strong first game and a dominating second game, give them the full 3 points and a great start back to their LPL.
And surprisingly, this is the game we can actually say has been the most one-sided series of the LPL so far. That's with EDG playing a lot of the lower teams in the previous weeks of the LPL. It's been Vici to actually take a game by the scruff of the neck and just push it and finish it so quickly. We've been like kind of reflecting on the match time is getting longer and longer. A lot more teams waiting for the 4th and 5th dragon to finish out a game. I don't even know if they picked up the 3rd dragon. They just finished it with the 2nd and finished the game.
Yeah, I mean, Dragon was actually alive there at the end of the game, but Vici were, unfortunately for them, busy ending it. So a very strong move through there, and again, a dominating performance. I mean, in a game with a 0 in it, we don't really expect it to go that short, but that's exactly what Vici were able to do there.
Whether it was the items, the amount of turrets, the time the game was finished, the clock was turned back, and EP, they're going to want to bring it back to 2015 after that performance. They're going to need to really pick it up if they want to get any wins this weekend in the LPL.
But a strong 2-0 for Vici secures them the 3 points, but don't go anywhere. We'll be back after a quick commercial break for our next match of the LPL.